Yesterday we learned about Eliyahu, Elijah the prophet, with the Baal worshippers, the worshippers of this idolatry, which is called Baal. We're now learning, it's a Sikha by the Rebbe in Chelek Aleph, in Parshat Kitisa, about a tragic episode that happened in the course of Jewish history, very similar to the Jews worshiping the golden calf. Jews worshipped the golden calf. They all knew it was wrong, but they had a tremendous desire to do it, and they did it. Similarly, also, in the middle of the first temple, about 600 years after they worshipped the golden calf, there was a similar case where all the Jewish people were worshiping another idol, which was called the Baal. And as far as I understand, it was a sun god. It was a way of worshiping the sun in the sky. So says the Rebbe, what is really wrong about worshiping idols? Worshiping idols, two things wrong. Number one, you are not connecting yourself to the creator of the universe, rather to his creations. But maybe more destructive, a person worships idols only for himself, only for what he gets out of it. If his religion, that he worships the sun or the moon or a frog or a cat or something, if it doesn't work, so they stop worshiping it. People will stop. If it doesn't provide him with what he wants, as he stops. In other words, the whole motivation of idolatry is selfish, purely selfish. Which is not the case, ideally, worshiping God. Of course, a person can also worship God for the benefits he's going to get. Right? A person could say, why should I worship the sun and the moon? I'll go directly to the boss. Then I'll have real pull. Right? Then I'll really, if I get connected to, why should I get connected to the governor? I'll go straight to Trump. Right? If I get in with him, then I'm really in good, right? So a person can also worship God, not to confuse God with Trump, even though some people say that Trump does, but not to confuse God with Trump. A person can worship God in order to receive what he wants to receive. That was not, I take that back, what I said about Trump, anyway. What he wants to receive. The whole essence of idolatry and all of the religions of the world are, this pays off. You'll get the best benefits in this world or the world to come, for sure. Judaism, ideally, is not that. Like I say, people also can worship God in order for the benefits they get, but that's not the ideal. The ideal of Judaism is Abraham. Abraham was the founder of Judaism. What did he found? Not a method, the only really reliable method to get into heaven or to get enlightenment or something. Exactly the opposite. We see Abraham never even talked about going to heaven. He didn't mention heaven or hell. He didn't give any meditations. He didn't promise any levels of consciousness. Abraham's only thing was to serve God. That made him happy, incredibly happy. The essence of humanity is to serve the Creator. So that's what Abraham wants. So ideally, worshiping God is totally selfless. In other words, it puts you in tune with the whole world. Like I said yesterday, everybody has a heart, everybody has a liver, everybody has a lungs. I bless you all. You should never feel your heart or your liver or your lungs. When people don't feel themselves or when limbs don't feel themselves, then they're really functioning properly. Same thing in an orchestra, teamwork. One person can't stick out more than another. Same thing in sports. Right? There has to be a team. So also, a person has to be part of the whole team, which is called the creation. You have to be part of it. And that's the idea of worshiping the Creator. That puts everything in tune. Everything is balanced properly. Idolatry is the opposite. Idolatry is selfishness. And a lot of times, because of selfishness, so people realize that if they get a lot of selfish people all together, then you'll be more powerful, you'll be more successful, you'll be more this. So everything, it appears to be holy and godly, idolatry, but really it's all pure selfishness. Okay, let's go. Yud Gimel. Limrot, even though Avodah Zorah, that idolatry, but often called in general, who biglal hashpa shemekablim darka, is because of what type of blessings or material or spiritual benefits you receive. Yesh avo b'davar zeh atzma shtei sugim, but there's two types of idolatry. Yesh avodah zora, there's idolatry, pure idolatry, that you worship a star or a force or a power or a person. And pasich al shtei sifim. There's another type of idolatry which is called stepping on two doorsteps. What does this mean? Avodah Zora's real idolatry here. A person thinks he really believes that by praying to the sun will give him a blessing. The moon will give him a blessing. By worshiping cats or sheep or whatever he worships, or a person, that this person or this animal or this power or this star will really is the source of blessings. Even though that it's really coming from selfish motivations, ulterior motives, he's not really serving this animal, this idol. He's really serving himself. He wants the idol to serve him. That's what he really wants. Hari hapenia ba be'emet. But nevertheless, he really, truly believes she'al yedei kach, that by means of this, shibud l'kochavim, she'abad l'kochavim, they'll serve the stars or the constellations, they will give him a flow, right? So he realizes that through whatever it is, Aries or Capricorn or something like that, and then when his planet or when his this is in, so in his house, so he says, oh, this is the time for me to pray. I need new upholstery in my car. So he prays, right? And sure enough, the next day, AliExpress, upholstery for your car, you ordered it? He says, wow, this is just fantastic. And his next door neighbor says, what's fantastic? You know what happened? I ordered, and his next door neighbor says, you really think it'll work for me? I need a new lawnmower. Try it. And he tries and it works. And he gets his lawnmower. And he says, wow, this is amazing. And soon enough, the church begins to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then because he's worshiping, what is he worshiping? He's worshiping AliExpress. The star. No, he's worshiping the star. AliExpress is just a servant of the sun or of the moon or whatever. But he really believes that the sun or the moon is giving him a flow, and he really does get this flow, and really it's not coming from the sun and the moon. Maybe it's coming through the sun and the moon, but it's coming from God. But he doesn't recognize God. Idolatry means he thinks that the world is totally in the hands of the stars, the constellations, people, animals, forces, spirits. But when a person steps on two entrances, he's got a doubt. Misafek, from Suffolk, he's got a doubt. There's some people that they always have doubts. They're never sure. Sometimes from time to time he starts to realize, hey, maybe it's God that creates the sun. Maybe God is the one that creates the moon. He's got doubts. Shituf. Some people, they serve the Baal regularly, but once in a while they say, maybe I should just serve God.
Just in case.
They feel really bad, yeah, just in case. And some people it's the other way around. They serve God all the time, but they say, maybe I'll serve the Baal just in case. There's a joke about this, a bitter joke. That an old lady from Mea Sharim, 98 years old, her whole life, She was a tremendously devoted Jew, very careful in all the commandments, very careful in everything. She prayed, and every morning she would say the whole Psalms. Right? She was on her deathbed, and she said, "Bring me Minchas Yerushalayim." It's a big siddur, and it has in it a long confession before you die. Before a person dies, a long vidoy. It's called long. He finishes reading it. Everybody's standing on it. Right? She says, "Now bring me a cross." He said, "What? Bring me a cross? What would you want a thing like that for? Why would you want?" He said, "Listen, I don't want to take any chances." Right? In other words, always in her mind was this little doubt, could be. I mean, the church is really successful. In other words, she was worshiping alternately this and alternatively this. That's called stepping on two doorsteps. But essentially, what would it mean? It meant that she was only really concerned about herself. That was what she was considering about. Concerned about, if I do this and I'm really religious, I'm going to go to heaven. I said, but listen, maybe, could be that, Then there's another type, which is called shutfut. What's shutfut? Shituf. Adamami b'kodesh baruch hu, v'gam lavdo b'avodah zorah. He believes in God, but he also believes together with that in the sun and the moon and this, and the church. Believes in the both. Or he can say that, I believe in the moon that is controlled by God. Right? I believe in God through the moon, through the sun, through his helpers. That's called partnership. The fact of the matter is, even if a person serves God in partnership, or if he's serving because of a doubt, even if he's serving idols together with God, or he's serving idols because of a doubt, even if he just does the deed, or just says what he's supposed to say, without any true faith in his heart whatsoever. Right? The famous story with Hannah and her 7 sons, that the king kills all of her 7 sons, and the last son, the smallest one, the king is already very ashamed, because he sees here's all these Jews that they believe in this invisible God for absolutely no reason. And it doesn't make any sense. All he wants is just to bow down for a second, then they can go and do what they want. And they all refused, and they all died. And each one saw the one before him get killed. But suddenly all of them, they just seemed to ignore it. Right? For them, God was more important. They couldn't figure it out. So he took his ring, which must have been worth, who knows, millions of dollars. It was a king. And he threw it on the ground, and he told the boy, just bend down and pick up this ring in front of me, just so that I look good in front of you. You don't even have to believe anything. You don't have to believe. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to believe anything. Just bend down. And he said, I'm not going to do it. So it brings a pasuk over there. Lo yichra, lo yishtach, something. Don't bend down. So the fact of the matter is, even just going through the motions without any feeling in your heart of believing in this idolatry, it's also called a big sin. That a person is even willing to give his life, like it says in the Tanya, Perek Yud Tet. In other words, an ordinary, normal Jew, that he doesn't have any connection with God, doesn't have the Torah, no mitzvahs whatsoever, and comes along some priest or something in the Inquisition, and he says, just bow down for 1 minute to this cross, and you don't have to believe in anything, and we'll let you go. And the guy says, of course I will. What's the question? Just bring it. He brings it, here it is, bow down. He says, okay, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Can't do it. You want to die? No. Then bow down. No. Right? Doesn't make any sense. Let's go over this thing again. You want to live? Yeah. You ever bend over in your life? You ever bend down? Sure. Tie your shoes, bend it over. So you are able to bend over. So just bend over. Just let me put this little statue in front of you, and then bend down. No. But I'm going to kill you. Want to die? No. Know how to bend down? Yeah. Ever done it before? Yeah. Okay, so bend down to this thing. Shema Yisrael. What? It doesn't make any sense. It's insane. He says that's what a Jew is. That's in fact what a Jew is. A Jew is even willing to give his life not to worship idols. Why do they do it then? How can it be that a person does it? The fizeh, according to this, move and it's understood shebepratim rabim, that in many ways grua yoter, it's worse. Ha'enya shel poseach hashti sifim, of stepping on two doorsteps, and others worshiping the idol and God together, or alternatively, what is it? Not no. What is it? Alternately. Oh yeah. Poseach hashti sifim, in some ways, worshiping both God and idols is worse than pure idolatry. Nimrod, even though Shebof and Kalali in general, Guru, Yoter, Avodah Zorah, idolatry is certainly worse. Shekein Adam hu mushchat tamid, because then a person is totally sinning. Who kofar Rahman, he's denying the oneness of God. He believes in this, whatever, a squirrel or something. What does he believe in? But as far as doing tshuva, if he wants to repent, it's possible that he will repent from doing idolatry and from poseach al shtei sifim, to worship God together with idolatry, is worse. Mishum shekasha yoter, it's harder for a person who worships two things, lachzor b'tshuva, to do tshuva emitit. It's hard for him to do tshuva. Why? Two reasons. A person that believes in only in idolatry, when he's clear that God is really the creator of the universe, all of a sudden he realizes he's making a big mistake. He feels the tremendous sin that he's done. Oh yeah, I worshipped idols. Lochen, therefore, who shall b'tshuva, he does tshuva according to what he should. We're now on in paragraph Yud Daled. So a person who worships only idols, he can realize that he made a mistake. Hey, there's a creator. What am I worshiping creations for and not the creator? And I've been worshiping these idols and I've been receiving all sorts of benefits. He says, yeah, but who are you? You yourself are just a creation. And God is creating you. That's pretty good that God is creating you, huh? If God wasn't creating you, you wouldn't have eyes to see this idolatry. You wouldn't have ears. You wouldn't have knees to bend down to it. You wouldn't have. So God's already giving you a lot, isn't he? I mean, he's creating you. He's giving you life, giving you abilities. And you're bowing down to this so they'll have a couple more zeros in your bank account. Does that make any sense to you? Suddenly the person says, wow, you're right. Doesn't make any sense. I'm finished. Right? I don't care what happens to me. I'm not worshiping these idols anymore. It was stupid. Made a mistake. There's a God. I didn't know there was God. I didn't. The umato, but on the other hand, a poseach al shtei sifim, a person that is on two doorsteps. In other words, he worships God and idols. Because he believes also in God, even later on, he doesn't feel it's such a big sin. Even if he realizes that it's wrong to worship the squirrel god, even though that the squirrel god has given me a new car and a new house, and since I started worshiping him, I really feel great, right? Nevertheless, he says, wow, it's wrong. I should stop worshiping this. But you know what? It's not really so bad because I was worshiping God also. He doesn't feel that he did such a bad sin in worshiping an idol because he was also worshiping God. Hu Choshev, he says, what type of a sin did I really do? And from the beginning I had a big doubt, even in an external way. The real fact is, the fact is I'm a good Jew like everybody else. I always believed in God. That I bowed down to idols because I was confused. Kach eno mitcharet, so he's doesn't have any regrets. But ein tshuva toshlem, and his tshuva won't be complete. Right? He goes to shul every morning, and he puts on tefillin and davens, and then he comes home 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a week. He pulls out a little statue from his closet, from his shrine he has in the closet, and he gives it a couple of apples, and he says, Keli ata ve'odeka, you are my God, and I will praise you, and thank you very much. Close the door. That's it. He believes in this idol. Why did you do that for? Like you say, not taking any chances. So afterwards they say, what are you doing? Why did you worship that idol? I mean, you're the rabbi of a shul. Every day you went home and you worshiped it. Not every day, every other day. So why'd you do it? Listen, I was worshiping God also. So okay, I made a little bit of a mistake, but it's not that big a deal. Right? It's not that bad of a thing. It's like, a health food person. Once in a while he puts a little sugar in his coffee. You put sugar, okay, once in a while, but I'm eating healthy all the time anyway. A little sugar. Right? You kicked me out of the club just because I put a little sugar in there. A little sugar. It's not such a big deal. A vegan that once in a while he eats a pulke. So he eats a pulke of a chicken. So what's the big deal? So once in a while he does it, once every month. They say, okay, but I eat, healthy, I believe all the time. They're not going to kick him out of the club, especially if he gives enough money. Here's the same thing. The person says, okay, so I worship idols, but I worship God. What do you want? I put on tefillin every day. What do you want from me? I put on tefillin every day. I keep Shabbos. Leave me alone. Go talk to other people that do worse things than me. So therefore, the person, when he's worshiping two things, he's never really going to do tshuva. He doesn't really feel that he did anything really so bad. Didn't feel anything.
But don't you have a situation where man believes in Hashem, he does shul, he does all the mitzvahs, and then he gets to work, and it's my hard work that made this business successful.
Sure.
Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah.
Isn't then for most people that's the
yes,
that is where they exist.
100%. 100%. You're right. Of course, this is not the type of idolatry that's punishable. This is not the idolatry. It's true. It's right. Yeah. The Tanya explains.
How many
yes.
people actually take out this little Sandy Koufax idol and pray for the Mets to win this week?
Right.
Because it's got money on the game.
Listen. There's what's called a spiritual idolatry. Spiritual idolatry means anything that you do that's selfish. Anything a person does that's selfish, that he does it for himself, is called spiritual idolatry. There's no punishment for this whatsoever. It's not forbidden according to the Torah. Not forbidden for a person to do it on the Torah. But on the other hand, it is forbidden according to Chassidut, 100%. But you're right, everybody, that's the enemy. And deep down, that's what's called Amalek. Yeah. Deep down, the source of that is Amalek. Even if he knows what God is, but he knows also that I exist also. Mm-hmm. And I can rebel against God. I can do what I want to. You should be thankful I'm doing anything. Right? God should be thankful that I'm just putting on tefillin and I come to shul in the morning. Don't expect me to think deeply about it and to give a big charity, or I already give charity. Just, God should be happy with what I'm doing. I'm doing better than everybody else. Leave me alone. Right? So a person like that, what is he really concerned about? He's concerned about himself. But on the other end, he's got a point. The things that he's doing are good. Yes, he's doing what he's doing is good. But first of all, the way that he's doing it is probably not good. Because if he is a selfish person, then all of his Torah and all of his Chassidus that he's going to learn always has this tinge of selfishness to it. He can't stand it if somebody understands better than he does. He can't stand it if he's wrong, right? He makes a wrong statement. He gets all angry, he gets all depressed, he gets all aggravated. Something happens. So it creeps into his whole entire personality. But everybody has that. You're right. Everybody has it. And everybody has to work on it. Everyone. That's what we call the national pastime. Should be. As a person has to fix himself up. It says, Asher bor Elokim la'asot. God created the whole world in order for us to fix it. That is the message of the bris milah. A person is created. A Jew is born, and he's born imperfect, What do you mean imperfect? He has the skin that's over this part of his body, and that skin is actually, you have to remove it. A person can say, oh, why should I remove that? I mean, this is the way God made me. God himself made me this way. I'm going to change what God did. And not only that, it's painful. God changed it. I'm going to take away a part that God himself made, and I'm going to make pain, which is a negative thing, according to all opinions, right? And I'm doing it to a little baby that doesn't understand anything. Any person with a brain in his head will realize this is not a good thing. Says, yeah, but the fact of the matter is it's not only a good thing, it's the best thing. It's the best. This is the reason that God put us into the world, to change the world, and sometimes it's painful. Yes, it's true. And sometimes we have to do it above understanding. Also true. Right? So the nature, we see, strangely, the nature of Jews is, I hope that it's changed a lot, but I don't know. The nature of Jews is idolatry. Jews like to do idolatry. Spiritual. They want to do idolatry. They want to do idolatry one way or the real idolatry. Who knows? Nowadays, the Yetzer Hora, just let me finish this one thing. The Yetzer Hora now is what we call total atheism. They worship themselves. That's their idolatry. People worship themselves. Whatever I say, whatever I think, whatever I feel, like just be yourself, just do it, just, I don't even know what I want. Find something, figure it out. You'll find out what you want. You'll have a desire, right? You have a desire, go for it. That's the real you. To the degree, insane degree, now they have in America, there's places where there's like 15 sexes, right?
160.
It could be whatever.
And they're added every day.
They have new sexes. What, according to what goes these sexes? According to their desires. According to whatever the desires, not according to their bodies anymore. It's according to their desires. A person has a desire, right? A desire that he wants to.
I've never seen this list.
I'm not a human being. I'm a squirrel. I'm a squirrel. I like squirrels. I want to get married to a squirrel. A lady squirrel or a male squirrel? No lady. There's no such thing.
Male squirrel with female turtle tendencies.
Yeah, that's a new type.
I've got to see this list.
The world is going insane, and that's like idolatry. What does it mean, idolatry? I am the creator. I create. Okay, but here, this is a different type of idolatry. In a way, atheism is worse than idolatry. In a way, atheism is worse than idolatry. For a person not to believe there's anything above him, in some ways that's worse than praying to a star or to a person or to a thing, and worse.
Well, a person will say he's an atheist, he's not really an atheist.
Who?
There's people say, I'm an atheist. They're not really atheist. They're in that middle group.
Listen, like they said, there's no atheists in foxholes. But
very few people have the intellectual strength to be a true atheist.
Listen, atheist, you can also be stupid to be an atheist. It doesn't have to be smart or stupid. That statement was made about an apicorus. Today there's no apicorus, because you have to really know the Torah in order to be a real apostate. But to be an atheist is not really that difficult nowadays. I mean, because, first of all, it's very popular not to be an atheist. They want to take off in God we trust from the dollar. And essentially what they want to say is, the French are big at this. The French are really, really big at this existentialist thing. Don't try to make crutches. Face the world alone, because that's the fact. Face reality alone, because you're alone and there's no meaning. Don't try to fool yourself. There's meaning. You have to make the meaning. You have to trick the meaning. The French philosophers are really good. The recent ones especially. They're big geniuses as far as this goes, and they can explain anything, and they really can. They really explain everything. Right? Explain everything. There's some major questions to be asked, but there's major questions to be asked on Judaism also. The atheism in some ways is worse than idolatry, because in idolatry, at least a person has something above him. Here the Rebbe is saying that if a person worships idolatry together with God, right, that in some ways worse than idolatry. Some ways it's worse than idolatry. Why is it worse than idolatry? Because he'll never do tshuva. He'll never repent. He'll always comfort himself by saying, listen, I worship God. I don't know what you're talking about. I worship God. So I worship another thing once in a while also. Right?
I think for most of it's, I worship my abilities to make money. Sometimes that doubts and so on.
Maybe, yeah. Don't take, like it says, don't take any chances. Okay, let's go. So he says a person that is on two doorsteps. That's what he told the Jewish people. That's what Elijah the prophet said to the Jewish people. Don't step on two doorsteps. If God is right, worship only God. If the Baal is right, worship only the Baal. Don't bring God into it. It's a bigger sin, but it's a type of a sin that maybe a person will realize his mistake. He won't pat himself on the back and say, listen, I wasn't so bad, so I made a little mistake. No, I've worshipped God also. It's better that in this way that he should do it. It's almost like the same thing. There's a law in the laws of mezuzah. If you have a choice to put on your door a disqualified mezuzah, puzzle mezuzah, or no mezuzah at all, what's better? No mezuzah at all. Why is it better? Because you put a false mezuzah, you think you have a mezuzah. You think you have one, and you'll never fix it. But if you have none whatsoever, there's also bracha levatal, other things. But the main thing is you think you have a mezuzah there, you'll never come to fix it. Right? It's the same thing over here. If he worships God and the other, it's like having a puzzle mezuzah. Right? He has a mezuzah. I got a mezuzah. I'm putting it on my door. A mezuzah. But the letters aren't exactly right, and the right. But what do you want? It's better than nothing, right? This is no. The fact is, it's not better than nothing. It's better that you shouldn't have a mezuzah there at all. And then maybe one day you'll say to yourself, maybe I should put a kosher mezuzah in. That's number one. Number two. Amamin ba'avodah zorah, a person who believes in idolatry, and lo b'shituv, not in partnership, mekul kol b'tachlit. He is really rotten. Why? V'hu to'eh, because he's making a mistake. V'sover shabal, and he really thinks that this God, this idol called the Baal, is really God. Right? A person that worships only idolatry, he's totally messed up. He really denies God, and he really thinks that this idol, or the power behind the idol, that's going to give him the blessings. But Yitachan, it could be even though he's detached from God, but the whole general topic of spirituality is important to him. That's why he's worshiping an idol. He's worshiping an idol. It's a power that's above him. But a person that worships also God and also an idol, b'shituv, together, mochiach hadavar, this indicates al shchitut kazeh, on such a level of, what do you call it, depravity, of rottenness. Shalozu bilavad, not only does he not want to be attached to God, he's not even attached to anything spiritual. Why do you say that? He's worshiping God and the idol. What's the proof? He admits that God exists. And in that knowledge that God exists, he's prepared to exchange God, begashmis, for physical things. Lachlif makor mayim chayim, to change the source of living water, in order lachsov beros nishborim, in order to break broken wells. What does he mean? He worships God. He says God creates me, but I'm worried about myself. God creates you. He gives you air. He gives you eyes to see. Your heart is beating. You really think he's not going to give you food? You really have to worship this idol? Why do you have to worship that? God doesn't want you to worship the idol. He says, yeah, I know, but got to think about myself. I can't be thinking about God all the time. But God He'll provide for you. That's one of the main things of God. Zonu fardis takol, He'll provide. Just be an honest person. Go to work, do honest things, and it'll be okay. He says, yeah, but my next door neighbor, he's got 2 cars. I only have 1 car. What do I get out of this Judaism business? And my car is old jalopy. Look at his beautiful car he's got, right? And look at he's got a 3-story house. I only have a 1-story house. And now all I have to do is once a week I'll go with him to church. He says, but I don't think you understand. The basic thing is, who are you worshiping? Both. says you're worshiping both, but in other words, you know that God exists, and you know God doesn't want you to go over there, and nevertheless you go over there. Why? Because of yourself. Because of yourself. So in other words, you're declaring that you are more important than God. That's essentially what you're doing. You're cutting yourself off from the Creator. Within this, it's like a person that he has his wife, and his wife sees him. He calls a telephone to bring some prostitute over to his house. They're going, what are you doing? Why are you doing that for? Right? You know your wife. It just makes her feel bad, and it's a terrible thing to do, and it's unfaithful, infidelity, and not only that, it's a disgusting, stupid thing to do. Why are you doing it? I like it. In other words, in front of your wife, in front of everybody, you're declaring that you're just doing what you want. You don't really care about anybody. He believes in God. God is there. He prays to God. What are you going and worshiping? You know God doesn't want you to do it. What are you doing it for? I like it. Right? Says that shows the person is such a deep level of selfishness and how do you say, crookedness, that it's impossible to fix him. How are you going to fix the person up? Right? No matter what you say to him, say, listen, I believe in God. I don't know what you want. Right? I give my wife I pay for the bills. I don't know what you're talking about. Right? I treat my wife nice. This once in a week. A person who worships idols, since that he cares about spirituality, as soon as he realizes his mistake, he'll do tshuva. He really cares about spiritual, and he worships this idol. On the other hand, a person that worships both things, because he doesn't even care about spiritual things. All he really cares about is what he's going to get physically. Even when he recognizes the truth, that the physical world depends only on God, he's not going to do tshuva. Why? He's not going to go back to God for truth. He's only going to do it because he's going to realize, oh, if I don't worship God, then maybe I'm going to get a big curse, so I better start worshiping God. And there's the whole time, whether he worships the idols or whether he worships God, he's only thinking about himself. Why is he doing this? Because he always believed in God, and nevertheless he was always worshiping the idols. So it shows that it was pure selfishness. On the other hand, the person that worships idols alone, he thinks that's all there is, that's the best, right? As soon as he realizes he made a mistake, then he can turn to something totally different, to be selfless and to serve the Creator. But a person is worshiping both, he's going to say, okay, I'll just drop this, but his attitude is not dropping, right? He's not dropping his attitude. His attitude is, I'm doing everything for myself, so I worship both. Okay, Herschel. Call Omar, everything we said, Ubiyachad. This is relevant to the person himself. I think this word should be yachas. Is that what you have? Biyachad. Yeah, I know that's what it is here, but I don't think. Okay. But yesh prat nosef. There's also something in addition. Shabo garua, that in it, it's worse a person who worships God and an idol together than a person who just worships idolatry. And that is what? Oh, I understand. And b'hashpa al azulos, the effect that he has on other people. A person who worships both God and an idol is going to have more of an adverse effect on others than a person who only worships idols. How so? Look. A person who serves idols, lo yilmad af Yehudi. No Jew is going to learn from this person. Cave and what? Shiyadua, love, he knows. Shu kofer. He officially left Judaism, and he, what they call, changed his religion. Ein lekol Yehudi calls sig v'siach ito. Therefore, a normal Jew won't have any connection with a person like this. Maybe you'll talk to him about business, but religion, he's not going to talk to him, right? You know, I just went to church. Do me a favor. Talk to somebody else. I don't want to hear about it. You want to talk about the baseball game. You want to talk about business. You talk about business. You want to talk about God. Do me a favor. Talk to your friends. Don't talk to me. On the other hand, a person who worships two things, cave, and since he believes in God to a certain degree, Hu bichlal hamachti et arabim. He's found in shul. He has tzitzis on, has tefillin and everything like this. But he also can throw in ideas to other people to say, hey, you want real Judaism? You want to see how practical Judaism? You want to have fun Judaism? Come with me to the church. Right? These people also, they're Jews and they believe they're new Jews, different Jews. So what happens? It ends up that a person, if he only worships idols, he's never going to go. But this guy says, I'm not idol worship. He says, well, you can't go to the church. It's forbidden. What are you talking about? Forbidden. I put on tefillin every day. I do mitzvahs, right? And I also worship in this place. There's nothing wrong with it. He can have an effect on other people, right? He has an effect on other people that other people won't think it's so bad. Like it says, "V'hamachti et harabim," a person that makes other people's sins is one of the worst sins of all. You can see this clearly. Let's say a priest comes and he talks to people. Comes to a school. He talks to that guy's a priest. Who's going to listen to him? Comes a reform rabbi and starts talking, right? And the kids listen to him. Now we're going to bring a rabbi also. Rabbi McGregor is going to give us a lecture about the importance of doing what you want, right? So he comes in and he says that, it's very important. Judaism has always been free, and we've always been free thinkers, and it's very, very important that a person should do what he wants to. If you want to put on tefillin, you should. If you don't want to, as I do, then don't put on tefillin.
You also pick from a list of 160 different
Right.
genders.
Yeah, right. Genders, right? Whatever gender you want to. You like going to a color store. What color store? Magenta and this.
A gender a day keeps
Right, a gender a day. Right? A gender a day keeps everybody away. Ted Zion. A hidden agenda. A Gemara omers, the Gemara says, Shekocho shel yetzer hora shel avodah zora butel. The Gemara tells us, it's a Gemara, here he says in Yoma, the Gemara in Yoma, says that nowadays there's no yetzer hora for idolatry. But haposinyan apsech b'shel shtei sivim chazak kam ata min yetzer hora shel avodah zora. Nowadays there is this yetzer hora for partnership, worshiping God together with something else. In other words, what does it mean? Let's take practically. Being selfish and also being religious. Selfishness. Some people are more selfish, total selfish, that's reform. Some people are, that's conservative. Some people, then they're modern. Some people are more religious. The idea is selfishness always creeps in, right? Selfishness creeps in. Sometimes it creeps deep, sometimes it's more external, but selfishness is always a main thing. Says the Rebbe, this thing of worshiping God together with yourself, this is stronger than it ever was. Stronger than it ever was. I mean, you have to realize that at one time it used to be, there's a story in the Gemara, if I'm not mistaken, it's in the Gemara of Avodah Zorah. I learned it. And it says that one day, I think it was Rabbi Ashi, I have to look and see. He gave a lecture to his pupils and he said, tomorrow we're going to learn about our friend Menashe. Now Menashe was an evil king in the first temple. He was the son of the prophet Yeshaya, Yeshaya the prophet. He was the son, Chezkiyahu Melech, I'm sorry. He was the son of Chezkiyahu Melech. Chezkiyahu Melech and Yeshaya were related, and Yeshaya came to him when he was dying. That's how Menashe got born. That Chezkiyahu was dying, and Yeshaya came to him to visit him.
He married his daughter.
Yeah, and he said, "You marry my daughter, and then maybe somebody."
He said he didn't want to get married because he was doing
Right. That's why you're sick. That's why you're sick, right?
Ishai said to him, "You do what you have to do, God will do."
Right. That's right. Hani kivshe the Rachmana Lamalach. What the mysteries of God don't delve into. So he got married and he gave birth to the Menashe, who was a terrible, a tremendous genius and whatever you want to call it, but he was a terrible, terrible person, and everybody loved him. And he threw all of Israel into idolatry and the worst debauchery and the worst terrible things. So, yes. So Rav Ashi said, tomorrow we're going to learn about our friend Menashe. Rav Ashi was 600-700 years, whatever, after Menashe. So that night Menashe came to him in a dream and said to him, why'd you make fun of me? And he said, because you worshipped idols. So he said, I want to ask you a question. You're such a big Torah genius. And he asked him a Torah question about where to cut the bread, whatever. He said, I don't know the answer. He gave him the answer. Menashe gave him the answer. So he said, if you're such a big Torah genius, then how could you worship idols? He said, believe me, if you were in my time, you would lift up your pant legs or whatever, you lift up your toga, and you would run faster than me. That's how that's the strong the Yetzer Hora was for idolatry. So we can't really appreciate that now. That sort of a Yetzer Hora. We can't really and so it used to be. So it says, true, the Yetzer Hora for idolatry has been destroyed, but the Yetzer Hora for dual allegiance has not. That people worship God and something else. This is even stronger than it used to be back then. There's some people that because of receiving physical things for parnasa, money, honor, a meduma, imaginary honor, and people are so worried about being popular and pleasing others. They give up. They're willing to throw away many issues of Torah and commandments. Sometimes for a few days or a few weeks. They put the Shulchan Aruch together with God, so to speak, on the shelf. They won't say this person is a batlan. They won't say this person, he believes in God, he believes in the Shulchan Aruch. It's not worth it. He wants to get a job. Right? How are you going to get a job? You have a beard, you have tzitzis. They're going to think you're in... Put them away. He'll say, I have to be with the times, live with the times. But you don't want people to say, I'm not modern. Especially in America, the old things. You have to go according to the spirit of the time, right? No beard, no tzitzis. Worry about what everybody thinks. No kippah, right? You want because of this, so the people won't say about him that he's not worth anything. He's a batlan. Kavod meduma, so that he'll have this what we call imaginary respect. Or kesef nosaf, or more money, the fact of the matter is he's going to spend all this money for doctors anyway. Because money comes not according to what God wants. So he'll go out to not proper things. Because he's missing the blessing of God. And that God will be that He'll protect you from loss. So it's understood that at least temporarily, muchan, not muvan, I misread. So this person is prepared, at least temporarily, to sell God and his soul in order that he should make a profit. You have to know that in these details, he is worse than idolatry. This person is worse than an idolater. Why is he worse than an idolater? We'll learn tomorrow, God willing. Thank you.